Hi everyone, so yes, Lunchbox. We are doing a 1 hour endurance race at the Lakeland Classic, so on the Saturday, weather permitting, after the the 4-wheel drive. We're doing a 1 hour enduro with the Lunchbox. So this is the XB version. So I won this last year at the Lakeland Classic in the raffle. Dead chuffed to win this, and with it being the XB, it's basically bone stock. So what we're going to be doing is making it more race ready. So first thing, we've got obviously a full set of bearings. So there's 9 of the regular bearings, and then there is a little small one just in there as well that goes somewhere on the lay shaft, so to speak. So we've got the bearings. So the rules for this endurance event is basically what we're going to. The motor, you're allowed to upgrade to a torque tune. So I've got a torque tuned. This is new. This came with the Audi, I can't remember what it is now, the Audi Quattro Group B rally car. So that came with a torque tune motor. So I've put a different one in that, and that's going to be going into here. Along with that, we have an 18-tooth pinion, so it'll have a bit more legs up the straight. Got different servo saver. I need to replace the servo saver because when I last drove this, the servo saver fell apart, and I think I've lost the little collar. But we're going to be replacing it with hopefully a better one. I've got the bag with all the bits in because we need these little bits. So this is everything that was left over. So we need these little bits for mounting the shocks. And for shocks, I've gone for these Fast Tracks ones. So it's 75mm and 85mm. I can't remember which way around it is, but I think it's 75 go on the rear. These don't come with oil in. I know that because I've emptied one pack out. So these come totally bone dry, but they are good little shocks, so bone dry in there. I've only got 300 weight. I think that's the lightest oil I've got, so I'm going to put that in to start with, see how it goes, and then we'll go from there. But there was one other thing. Oh yeah, the ESC. I'm going to move the ESC, so basically the battery wire can come out through there. So when the body's on, obviously running these for an hour, it's going to need a battery change or two. It'll just be a case of whipping the battery out, new one in, plugging it in without having to remove the body, because that could be the reason why we lose the race, and I do want to win it. I really don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, so torque tube motor, 80-tooth pinion, bearings, oil-filled shocks. That is as far as you're allowed to go with them. There's no point in doing anything else with these, really. It's all the changes you can do to the front. It basically takes away the fun. If you're going to start rocking up with like a heavily modified Lunchbox, then yeah, it takes away a bit of the fun. So what I'm going to do, I'll tear it down, and then once I've got it all torn down, we'll jump back and we'll have a look at how all the upgrades get fitted. So I'm going to pull it apart, fit the bearings, fit the motor and the pinion, put it all back together, and then we'll get the shocks changed last. And then once that's done, if the weather's still nice, we'll take it out for a little rip and see how it goes. So let's get cracking. Right, so bearings are in and the 18-tooth pinion. So if you're going to be putting an 18-tooth pinion in, obviously that's how it'll sit. When you take out the old motor, it has this on, and it's got a really long pinion, and that is basically way too big there. But because you get this on, I think this basically just clocks the motor to run the 10-tooth. So that will sit on that, and that basically then sits in there like so. So obviously you don't run that when you're running the 18 tooth. You still need to keep hold of the end part and the 2 screws. So this all still works, but that bin surplus. So we've got it in and it's meshed up nicely. I don't know if I'll be able to get it to turn. I'm trying to turn against the motor, but yeah, we're all spinning nicely in there. So there is no easy way of getting the spur gear set to the right sort of like depth. So having the spur gear too far out, too far in. All I did was put the spur gear on, tighten it up just ever so gently, and then put it in, add a look where it needed to be, and then just with a flat bladed screwdriver, just put that in the bottom, turned it, and that just pushes the pinion up slightly. Kept doing that until I got it fine. Obviously these screws, they're just in there just so you can see that that's how it'll all fit. It also means that the motor's going to be further in. That's really going to affect the handling and make it stick like rails when it's out on the track. So really looking forward to that. So that's it, your 18 tooth pinion goes straight in. I've used just the standard Tamiya one. It was the only one I could get hold of readily available. I do hear stories that these don't last very long, but I don't think it's going to run out within an hour's running. Hopefully it doesn't, otherwise it's going to be the end of our race, but it's in. So we're going to move on. So all the bearings are in. I've put more grease inside, so even though there's an expert built one, there was generous amounts of grease in there. All I've done is just added a bit more, just because this is pretty much going to be staying in there for now. I don't normally Loctite grub screws on the pinions, but this one I'm just going to put a little bit of Loctite on, because realistically this motor and pinion, they're never going to come out of this again now until something dies. But yeah, it's not going to get massive amounts of use, but we're there. So I'll get this put back together and then we'll move on to fitting the new servo saver, and then we're nearly there. Nice easy project this. Right, so steering servo saver is on. I've tested it, so I've just got an old battery that I used to bung in, and yeah, we're all looking good. So I may need to just do something with the track rods, adjust the length of them, but we'll come to that once it's all up and running. So I've moved the ESC. It was up on here, so I've moved it down there. So basically now the motor wire, the battery wires can go in there. So it should make changing the battery a lot easier. I've just put on some foam tape just over there. It's just a little bit of a sharp edge, even when I tried just smoothing it down. And I've run the battery wire, the motor wires through there. So I've just drilled a hole, got the reamer, opened it up so the wires will fit through there. And that was basically just because we're moving the ESC further down. There wasn't enough slack on the motor wires, so they were coming down through this top part on there originally. Zip tied it back on, and I've put zip ties just on the end. Just on the ends here. I've had one of these pull out. I mean, once you take these in and out a couple of times, they do open up. So I've pushed them in, given them a little squeeze with some pliers just to try and get a bit more pressure on them. Pushed them all in, and then put the zip tie on the back part here. So basically this is hopefully going to stop them from coming out, but the proof is in the pudding. So we're now moving on to getting the shocks fitted. So like I said, we've got the fast tracks 75s and 85s. They need oil. I'm not going to put oil in them just yet. I'm just going to get them fitted to the car before I start messing about with oil. And like I say, I've only got 300 weight, so I'm going to be starting at 300 weight oil and seeing how that goes. But yeah, so far so good. So let's crack on. Right, I'm calling this one done. So we have the torque tune motor in, the 18 tooth pinion, got the oil shocks on, and I've got my new, can't really see it to be honest, new servo saver in there. I I think it does give it maybe slightly better throw on the steering. I don't know, but at the end of the day, it's a Lunchbox and they're not renowned for being great steering cars. So that's it all set for the Lakeland Classic endurance event. I do need to give it a test. I've zip tied through there, got the cables through, basically just to try and make battery changing, but I've just tried the body on and it's still a little bit iffy, and the cable could maybe get tangled in the rear wheel. But yeah, the rear suspension is a little bit stiff and the front's maybe a little bit too stiff, so I'm going to order some 100 weight oil. I think I'll try 100 weight and see if that just softens it up a little bit. I don't know if I have any springs I can put on to do anything, but I mean, I don't really want to get hung up on the handling of this thing because it's a Lunchbox. But yeah, so all the bearings are in. I'd probably say that the oil shocks are probably the best upgrade you can do. On fitting them, there was only one thing to note. You probably won't be able to see it, to be honest. But in the kit, you get these little bits that go underneath the shock. Just there. The rear one's better to see. You get these. Obviously, this was the expert built one. I don't know if these come with the normal kit. I'd imagine they will. You need to just screw that through and then put a nylock nut on the end there. I've not gone for the kit ones that did come with it. I've gone for some Allen key fitting ones, and it's purely just for the fact that the top of the shock, where it comes up, it was just actually starting to catch on the screw head, so they give it a slightly lower profile. There's little indentations in the plastic, so on the underside there's two little dots, and then on the little metal collars that you put in, they've got little cutouts, so just make sure you get those lined up on the dots. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to show you. Yeah, you can't see. It's not going to show up at all. Oop, no. But yeah, so on this, on the front, I think it goes side to side, and then on the back it's front to rear. It probably makes no odds, but you probably may just find that it doesn't quite fit right. So no test run, unfortunately. Typical Lake District weather. It's now gone from nice sunshine to rain, so I won't be able to give it a run out, but I will be running it at some point, see how it goes. But yeah, that's it. So if you've any questions, queries about any of the mods, what's involved, give us a shout. More than happy to help anyone out. But come July, hopefully you'll see a few of these running for an hour and hopefully lasting the full hour. But that's it for me. So take care and we'll see you all soon. Cheers, guys.